Hi guys, welcome to my review of the Leisurely Audio L8. Okay, this is a company that has been around for a while now. They've been around for quite a while. I have it. Well, this is my my opinion that they are somehow related with GS Audio. Okay, and I would think, or I would assume or presume that Leisurely Audio is perhaps the more upgraded models of GS Audio that are then given this new branding and so on. That's my opinion. Don't take it for being what's the reality, what's the truth. Anyway, that's the box. Very simple. 3 pairs of tips, cleaning tool, just like GS Audio, mind you. Cleaning cloth. The only difference between this and GS Audio brings it in that kind of pelican plastic case. Everything is inside there. This comes in a box. Okay. As for the case itself, it's also a little bit different. It's not that plastic one. It's a case which is very similar to cases that you can see, for example, on the Muse, the Muse Hi-Fi Power, the Focus EDM, the Focus Vocal. They all use this style case. Nice case. That's it. It's an IM that costs in the upper $300 range, $380, $370 more or less. So taking that into consideration, what is offered in terms of accessories is a little bit on the poor side, in my opinion. I mean, I'm positive that they could have done way better. They could have added more tips. They could have done better than that. That's my opinion. Anyway, the IEMs themselves. I'm using the stock cable. It's a decent enough cable. So it required no real change, and it plays so loud that no point in going even balanced. I mean, 3.5 is more than enough. The IEMs themselves have kind of this kind of custom IEM feel to them. Beautiful shell in green. You can see all the BAs inside and so on and so forth. It's using a mix of Sony and Knowles. Flawless construction. Honestly, the construction of this is flawless. It's really something that needs to be seen to be fully appreciated. The screen that they use on this faceplate, it is so nice. I actually would have done the whole shell with a similar green color transparent as well. It just looks so smart, so smart. Anyway, IEMs, they fit perfectly in my ears. No issues there. Isolate very well. I mean, assuming or not assuming, but if GS Audio is known for having earphones which fit beautifully, and if this is in fact a GS Audio hand, well, they've just done what they usually do well, which is make a perfectly fitting earphone, in this case IEM. Before I go into the sound, I could have chosen a whole bunch of IEMs. Fortunately, I have a decent enough collection, but I decided to just keep it to these two other models here. Why? Firstly, because they are also 8BA. This one is a GS Audio ST8B. Very similar. I mean, you look at it, you look at the shells, and they are very similar. There's a lot of similarities here, okay. So ST8B, also using Knowles and Sony. Actually, if there's one commonality in these three, is that they all use the 381X in the bass department, but all with different ways of tuning it, and it's actually an interesting thing to see. And over here, the Fearless Audio S8Z. Again, in terms of construction, nothing to be said. Beautiful shell, fits nicely. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, I'm using XI NHS cable on here, a KB ear actually on there. I thought I was going to say XI NHS, but I just wanted to make sure, and the stock cable like I mentioned over there. This is a little bit of it's not a difficult review to make, but it's just an awkward one, because I've heard so many reviewers, or well, so many, I've heard a few reviewers talk about the Leisurely, and they basically talked wonders about it. That it was a fantastic IEM, and that it plays really well and it's super detailed and this and that and that and this, and not wanting to burst any bubbles or seem like I'm not being fair towards them, or I'm trying to. It's not all that it's been said. Let me just put it that way. Yes, it is an IM which is super detailed, and I am honestly hoping that my set is just wrong, because if the other reviewers that heard this had exactly the same set as I have here, and still stand by what they said about the Leisurely, then something is wrong here. Either my ears need checking or their ears need to be checked. This is the graph of these three IEMs in front of us. Okay, blue line, the GS Audio ST8B, as you can see, the most neutral. Also, sorry, the most neutral. It could do with a little bit more pin gain. Could do with just a little bit more. I mean, just a little bit extra elevation there before it actually rolls off there to 5K to take away any sibilance. So maybe raise it up to the level of then what is there at 6, 7, 8K. All right. But if some of you recall my review of the ST8B, I talked very highly about it, and the truth is, it is a fantastic IM. I liked its neutralish warm signature. I really liked it. It kind of, well, the P1 Max is more detailed, but it kind of follows that same line of thought, which is it's a well done neutral. Period. The bass on here on the 31 D1, the 38 D1X on here just does wonders. It's amazingly good. I think it's the same way as I praise the bass on the SA6 using the same BA. I think here as well they were able to hit the nail on the head perfectly, because the bass is so well done, it doesn't even sound like a BA. It sounds very much like a DD. And that was the case as well with the Duno SA6. It's just got this nice timbre tonality which the ST8B has. And like I said, the only real flaw is then could have a little bit more pin again, just to push the vocals a little bit more forward so they could be on par, and improve a little bit upon instrument reproduction, so on and so forth. But it's nothing that is offensive, let's put it that way. In the green line, subdued into slightly lower down in terms of the bass output, like 4 dBs more or less, is the Fearless. And as you can see, that has loads of energy by comparison. Not only is it it's got less bass than the other two, but it's got loads of energy, which has, in my opinion, two effects. It makes it sound thin, loads of quite often with a lot of music I listen to, and it makes that BA timbre become more evident, and that for me is the biggest thing that that's the biggest flaw of the S8. It is a really good IM, capable of pretty amazing detail, and it's known for that detail and all the little nicks and twinkles and nuances and whatever. This thing can pick up on it, but at the cost of then not having the bass that sometimes it needs to have, the bass being overly cold, not having that nice texture to carry on through, and it just no. And this is $550, so you expect a little bit more. The ST8, by the way, is around 370, so more or less the same price as the L8. And actually, when you look at the graph of the L8, which is the red line, it follows the ST8 so well up to about 1K, that it would be normal to think, okay, this is basically the same IM. Then they just changed the BAs and the way it was tuned up top, and it is. I think that's basically what it is, because it's got different. It's to start with, it's got 4+4 configuration, 4+4 configuration, let's put it that way. Actually 2+2+4 configuration, 4 BAs for the mids and highs, 2 38D1Xs, 2 37s for the extra mid bass and so on and so forth, and then the 4 mid high BAs. This one's got a 3-way configuration. And so it is a 3-way configuration, but there's only 2 bores effectively coming out. So it's, let's say, you could call it a 4+4. This one is a 3-way configuration, but it's got 3 bores. So you got a bore for the highs, a bore for the mids, and a bore for the lows. Okay, so you can say that these probably share some common genes there. However, and this is where now I have to say that I was a little bit disappointed, is, I mean, look at the amount of energy that you have from 3 to 9K on the L8. Okay, it is just borderline ridiculous. If it was on the level of the S8, sorry, this thing just doesn't work. If this had the same amount of energy as the S8 has between, in that interval of 3 to 9K, it would be a completely different IM. And that's why I'm saying maybe I just got a bad set. I just got a set that's just got too much energy, and those other fellow reviewers got good sets, and that's why they praised it so well. As it stands here, this thing is on the edge of wanting to kill me at every moment, because with low volume, yes, it's fine. The bass is able to more or less keep up with the mids and the highs, definitely. And things still are listenable. So when I compare these two, for example, I have that bass from here, but then I have a little bit more extra detail and twinklies and sparkles that this one offers. But the moment I up the volume, this one actually scales nicely the mids and the highs, and they almost start wanting to be able to match the rest of the low frequency, while this thing is immediately trying to kill me, period. If I compare it with the S8, with lower volumes, yes, it is better than the S8. It has more bass, and it's still got all the twinklies and sparklies and everything. But when I put up the volume, it scales in such a way that it immediately is trying to, assassinate my ears. And even though this is flawed, I prefer the S8. So, I mean, what can I say? I want to like it. I can see that it's got potential. It just needs to be substantially brought down in terms of the amount of energy that it has got there. And that's assuming that this is not 100% what they wanted to do. Because actually, when I look at the factory graph and my graph, the differences are monumental. So I will again say that I think this is just a bad set. I just got a lemon here. If, on the other hand, this is not a lemon, and this is in fact the way that it's supposed to be tuned and sound, then then I must honestly reconsider if I carry on reviewing stuff, because when I hear other reviewers saying that this actually sounds good, and it's, I don't know, they maybe because they are the majority, I'm wrong, and I think I should dedicate myself to doing something else, because this is not correct. This does not sound right, period. Anyway, guys, I apologize if this wasn't what people would have wanted to hear about leisurely. I hope, like I said once again, that I'll be able to find a solution for this. And if I do find a solution, I have no issues with making another review and correcting things. But as it stands, L8, no, don't go for this. All right. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.